fight them until they're dead. So I'm not taking verses out of context and just using them to say whatever I want to say. What I'm saying to you is exactly what Ibn Kathir would say to you. What I'm saying to you is exactly what Abu Umayyad just a couple of years ago, who was the chief justice of all of Saudi Arabia and the imam at the Grand Mosque in Mecca, he laid down exactly what I'm saying here. There are these stages when Islam is a persecuted minority, then you preach peace and tolerance and pretend to be peaceful. But when Islam rises to power, then you fight the unbelievers until they submit to Islam or pay you the jizya or they're dead. So this isn't something I'm making up here. This is something that has been recognized since the beginning of Islam. And who disagrees with this? Western Muslims who've been westernized with their Western values, and now they believe in a watered-down, westernized, whitewashed Walt Disney version of Islam that has nothing to do with the actual commands of Muhammad.
I would like to clear some points because he thinks when America acts, this means Christianity is acting.
No, horrible.
We know that there is a separation between state and
Absolutely.
church in the United States. And when Europe acts, this means the Christians are acting. Because that's the situation in the Middle East. When any Middle Eastern country acts, this is an Islamic country, so Islam is acting. It's not the situation here. When America does something, doesn't mean the Christians are giving the orders.
Absolutely. And so this is, and by the way, we find this even in the Bible. Christianity can influence a government, and we certainly hope that governments would be influenced by Christian values. But at the end of the day, Jesus said, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. You have your duties to God, and you have your duties to governments, even if those governments are sometimes bad, as the Roman governments were. But you still have certain obligations that you don't rebel against the government, unless you're specifically being commanded to do something that violates Christianity. But in America, there's no, hey, the church declared war. That's not what we find in Europe. That's not what we find in America. And I find Muslims just don't understand this because they can't conceive of a government that's not formed by your religion, because that's the goal in Islam, is to have the government.
I'm trying to say, if the American government invades Afghanistan, it doesn't mean the church invaded in Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever they're doing.
Yes, and if a church invaded anything, they would be specifically violating the commands of Jesus, who said his kingdom is not an earthly kingdom.
All right. We will be back. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back in Jesus or Muhammad. And we are going to take another call now from Christians. Good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening. How are you doing? A peace of Christ to you guys.
Thank you.
And our sorrow and our prayer for those who they lost their life for our Lord. At the same time, I want to answer those Muslims who call. You know, I accuse Muslims to be children of hypocrisy. Number one, always Muslims, when we ask them about Islam, they go back in history and they try to find something against you. First, the crusade. Let us go and be honest about the crusade. The crusade, they are not the one who attacked Mecca. They are not the one who sent the letter to Muhammad saying to him, either you became a Christian or we will kill you. It was Muhammad's army who came to them. So if I was there at that time, I will be with the crusade and I will be honored to fight for my land. This is our land, and you came to our land, you want to take it out from us. You know, even when Umar al-Khattab, he made a speech, he said clearly that this is not our land. And even the leader of the attack, he said, none of you is born in this land. None of you even speak the language of this land, but we will take it. Same they did to Spain. Same they did to everywhere. Their army reached all the way to China. And then they come to us and speak about the crusade. The crusade was a reaction, not the action. The crusade was after the Muslims took our holy church and they burned it. Actually, even the Aqsa Mosque is, you know, simply, it used to be a church in Lebanon. They destroyed the church. They took everything from there. They stole even the rocks, even the roof, even the golden roof, everything. They stole it from there, and then they claimed that this was built even in the time of Muhammad, which is false. You know, how it's going to be built in the time of Muhammad when no Muslim was there? Who is the one who will build it? You know, then they come to us, and later you might get a call. I'm just telling you in advance. They will call you and they will say to you, Hitler, what about Hitler? Hitler, he hated the Christian. He was killing the Christian. Actually, the army of Hitler, more than 30% of them was Muslims. And none of the Muslims ever attacked Hitler or fought him. They fought with him, part of his army, part of his command. If Hitler was bad, why you fight with him? They will not say that to you. Then they will jump to talk about slavery. All of us, we knew that the one who was capturing the slaves was the Arab in North Africa, Moroccan, Algerian, Libyan, etc. You cannot take slaves through the Mediterranean Sea without crossing the Muslim land. They are in control. They are in charge. They are the one who was capturing the black people, selling them to the white man. And we condemn what the white man did, but this was done according to Muslims, according to their religion. Because in Islam, it's allowed to own slaves. It's allowed even to rape the slaves, as chapter 4, verse 24 says. But they will never mention that to us. Then they will come to us and say, like the caller, he said, you know what, we should ask the government of Egypt to do justice. I want to ask him, isn't it your prophet who said, no Muslim will be killed for killing non-Muslims? What kind of justice that justice is? They are hypocrites. This is what your religion, you know, imagine we have a law in the state in USA, it says, if a Christian kill a Muslim, he will not be killed. Is that justice? Do you like us to do that to you? Or it's good for you to do it to us only? So when they mention to you things like the guy who was calling you a second ago, he was mentioning to us verses, and maybe he will call again, and later he will say to you, you know what? The verse he mentioned to us, Obama. If you kill one man as if you killed all mankind. The verse saying clearly, if you kill one man, he's a Muslim. Read the verse after and read the explanation. It's about killing a Muslim. If a Muslim kill a Muslim, as if he killed all mankind, not about killing a Muslim. Because Islam promotes clearly killing all non-Muslims. And when somebody says to us, like the guy, he said, you know what? If we Muslims want to kill the Christian, you will not be alive. I consider this as a threat. He is not being nice. He is being really rude. The fact, if you can kill us, you will do it. And about the Christian who they are left there, I want to ask you, what happened to the 100% Christian in this country? Now we have 10 to 20%. This is mean you killed almost 90%. And the other who you did not kill them, you forced them by humiliation to accept Islam because they cannot afford it. Financially, they have to pay every month. They cannot afford it to be humiliated. They cannot take it no more. So the one who they are weak in their faith, they give it up and they convert to Islam because it's too much humiliation. Go and read the Pact of Umar and imagine yourself living there in the time of Umar al-Khattab. And the Muslims, they say that Umar al-Khattab is one of the best Khalifa when he was one of the best criminals in the history. Go and read his pact. Do you agree for us, if we take your land to practice on you, the Pact of Umar, is it going to be justice? They will say no way. So for them, justice is one way to go. It's the Muslim taking your land. It's a Muslim taking your wife as a captive. It's a Muslim doing beheading to you. It's a Muslim forcing you to pay jizya, which is not tax as they claim. And regarding jizya, Ibn Kathir said, the Prophet, not Ibn Kathir, don't initiate salam to the Christian and the Jew
And if you meet any of them in the street, force him to the most narrow alley. So imagine how